Come on, dude, I texted you like 5 minutes ago. No reply. Pfft. Typical. Typical. They hate me. They freaking hate me. I knew it. I knew it all along. Whatever. Sound like you? Making assumptions all the time? Well, in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. So, we all know that we have an anger problem in America right now, maybe other parts of the world, but especially in America. We have angry people, controlling people, all kinds of stuff. But the other issue that maybe doesn't get talked about quite as much is this idea of us always making assumptions about people, places, and things. And you could tie that into racism and prejudice, of course. But it's not just that. It's we're making assumptions about so many things in our lives, subconsciously, that oftentimes we feel guilty afterwards. So I'll give you a little example. Somebody told me a story this morning about how she went for a walk and she saw that there are all these little black birds attacking a bigger bird. I don't know if it was a crow or falcon or some kind of large bird. But all these little birds were like attacking it and harassing it. And she was like, oh, that poor falcon, that poor crow, you know, on the side of the bird being attacked. That poor thing. But then she thought about it a little bit more and was like, well, what if that big bird, the crow, well, I'll call it a crow because I don't know what it was, but what if that crow did something to a little bird or those little birds and they were just trying to defend themselves and they were trying to protect themselves and fight back? Shift in perspective a little bit, right? But because what the eye was seeing was the big bird getting attacked, then right away jump to the conclusion, oh, that poor bird, that poor crow. Does that sound sometimes like how we twist things in life, where we're like, this person hates me, they don't want to talk to me because I haven't heard from them lately, you know, they didn't text me back, or on the other hand, it could be, this person's being really friendly to me, they must want to date me, they must want to, you know, do something more with me. Or this person has a heavy accent and they must not know how to do their job right. Well, that's a little case of prejudice as well too, right? But so many times it is this idea of the reality going on in our head, in our brain, versus the reality of the reality of the reality. So here's the difference. We have forgotten how to self-trust. We have forgotten how to trust our own inner GPS, our intuition. So instead, we rely on our brain. And we all know that this brain is tied to past memories, past emotions, traumas, things that we have experienced in our lives, and it tries to connect to this current experience, what our eyes are seeing. So when we visually see something or we hear something, our brain wants to jump to the quickest conclusion it can, okay? It always wants to find truth. And whether that truth is really truth, grounded in reality, that's the story and that's the issue we have a lot of times. So just think to yourself, I just want to do a quick video today just to remind you to be aware and observe when you're making assumptions about people in particular versus what is actually grounded in reality. We all know, myself included, things like low self-esteem or lower confidence can come out as all these fears and assumptions about people. They don't like me, or I'm not going to go to this event to spite them or something. And we start coming up with ways to get back at people because we think that there's some kind of issue going on with that person, or that person doesn't like me because they didn't text me back, they didn't call me back quick enough. What they replied in email was very short and curt. And this is the thing, technology and social media and us not being able to read body language anymore and be face to face with people causes us so much distress. Because what is communication? I think it's at least 75% body language with somebody, and we don't get that. So we're trying to make up for it all the time. Our brain is trying to make up for that lack of face-to-face interaction. Look at with the pandemic, right? We're through Zoom, things like that, but you can't smell a person. You can't really see a person. They're kind of like blurry. You can only see from here up. Eye contact is kind of like, on Zoom, you're kind of like, I don't know. It's different, right? It's very, very different. So I just wanted to make you aware, first of all, ask yourself, how many assumptions are you making per day? Probably like hundreds, right? And you don't even realize it because you're doing it on a subconscious basis. Your brain is just automatically filling in the blanks the best way it knows how to. The brain doesn't want any blanks, okay? It doesn't want any blanks in your life. So what it does, it picks from the category of past experience, and it connects to different things in your past life. And it assumes it knows best. But we all know what knows best. Not the brain, because the brain causes us so much trouble, right? We're complex, we're beautiful creatures, but we're also evil and complex, and we can be very, very cruel, as we've seen. But think about it. What knows best? Who knows best? You know best. And who are you? You're not just your brain, right? Think of what else you got. Think of that inner GPS, that when you get like a gut feeling about something, intuition. Usually intuition is right. It's just that the brain kicks in and it wants to take over and control our lives, okay? So it's more about getting to a place where we can follow our own, like that initial feeling. And a lot of times we ignore that because we're always in like a sympathetic state. We're always distracted from our own selves. Thanks, technology. Thanks for that, right? Again, pros and cons to stuff. But it's getting to a place of trying to be face-to-face with people, for one, before making just an assumption about them, but not being so quick to make assumptions about people, okay? You like somebody, don't just quickly make an assumption because they didn't text you back, okay? Go meet with that person and feel them out, face-to-face. And then you'll be able to tell a little bit more. It's going to give you a little more clues instead of just relying on our brain all the time, because the brain is just going to overthink and overthink and overthink. So just a reminder for today. Okay, guys, just a reminder. Don't be so quick to assume, because this is the problem we're having in just society and the world right now, is we're very quick to make an assumption. Make an assumption about somebody, okay, without really knowing them. Or even if we do know them, we're always making an assumption, okay, about them, how they're treating us, or just them in general type of thing. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below. If you have any other video ideas for me, please let me know. Reach out to me. Leave some comments below. Anything you'd like to see me or hear me talk about. I always love to get new ideas and material for new videos. So until next time, I will see you on the next one. Peace.